everybody, and welcome. My name is Joy Culpepper, and I am a part of Culpepper Livestock, as you can see here on my shirt. And as my husband likes to call me, I'm the crazy goat wife. And you can kind of see why there a little bit in the background. Little starters about us and our family here. My husband and I, we have 4 kids together. And we live on a 124-acre ranch, and it's actually the land that I grew up on personally. So it's got a lot of sentimental history and value to me, and it's really, I love the fact that I get to raise my kids on the land that I grew up on. It really means a lot to me. We currently have close to 200 head of boar goats. We'll go over that here in a little bit. And of course, I've got my assistant here, Fallon, helping me, visiting with some of our livestock guardian dogs. These 2 are Anatolian Shepherds. This is Duke and Daisy. And all the girls are coming up to say hi here. But anyway, I'm going to flip the camera here and show you a little bit of the goats. The does in this, we call this our front pasture. All these girls here, they are all registered boar goats. They are registered through the American Boar Goat Association, and they are either a full blood or a percentage, which a percentage is they can be crossed with another breed. And of course, we've got different colors and varieties here. All very sweet girls. All right, now we're gonna keep on going and take a little tour of our farm here. We actually have 2 different herds. One herd is ABJ registered, the girls I just showed you here. And then we've also got a separate herd that is what we call our weather genetics herd, which they're a little bit more of some composite breeds, which they've got a little bit of myotonic in them. May have a little Spanish, a little bit of dairy, but they're built a little bit different than the boar goats, or the registered boar goats. They're a little bit more of what we call tight-hided. They're more designed for the market shows versus the registered goats. We here at Culpepper Livestock, we breed to try to follow the true South African boar genetics. That is our goal. And another one of our livestock guardian dogs here, this is Wayne. And these girls here are waiting to get let out in the pasture for the day. These girls here are actually some recips, but we'll go into recips and flushing and all that stuff in another video, because that can get a little bit complicated. But now we're gonna go take a peek at our weather herd. Like I said, we've got some myotonic, which is the fainting goats. Now, the first generation cross on a myotonic, you lose the fainting ability. So none of ours faint, but we do have some myotonic crosses. Very, very sweet girls. They're a little bit smaller than the boar goats, but they do help add some muscle and some mass to the boar goats. The meat to bone ratio is pretty hard to beat on them. But I'm gonna flip the camera here and show you our weather herd. And all these girls down here, of course, they're a little far off right now. But this is our weather herd. Some nice girls in here. And some of these are also, we've got a few recips out in this group as well. But like I said, I'll go into that another day because it can get a little bit confusing. And then with the weatherbreds, like I said, we're sold out currently for this year, but our goal on that side is to try to help our local 4-H and FFA kids. We're trying to, we bring in genetics from all over, and we're trying to make affordable show goats for these kids, because not everybody can go out and afford a $1,500 or $2,000 show goat. And so we're trying to keep it affordable for these local kids, because we don't want to turn somebody off from wanting to show and getting the opportunity to learn new things. Our goal in the goat business is to teach others. My husband and I are both on the same page. We love working with kids, and not just kids, their parents, their families. We love working with them and teaching about the goat industry. And that is our ultimate goal. These girls behind me here are actually our kids' show goats. As you see, we've got a pen full, and that feed bill's not always very pretty to deal with. Gonna go on down the line here. And as anybody knows, when you have a ranch, it is always a work in progress. So these pens are getting worked on daily, and I'll show you here in just a second the damage that a buck can do to a fence. Yeah, goats, I will say, are the most destructive animal on earth. I raised pigs growing up. We had like a 900-pound boar hog, and he never destroyed a single pen. You put a buck in a pen or a doe, and actually does are kind of worse. Pens destroyed literally in hours. But here's what I walked out to yesterday. Yep, so as you can see, I had to empty this pen out with the young bucks because Mr. Jughead here and his group of does was not very happy that there were some young boys next door to him. So to teach them a lesson, he was trying to beat the fence up. But these girls here are all in here getting bred right now. This old gal right here is going on 9 years old. She is a full-blooded Nubian, which is a dairy goat, and we use her for spare milk, and she is an absolute sweetheart. And of course he's lost a little bit of weight now, but this is my oldest daughter, Briley. This is her show buck. This is Jughead. And then these girls here next door are all starting to cycle and have their heat. So they're a little bit worked up here. But all 3 of these right here have all hung banners for us. They're my kids. Hi, I see you there. Yep, I see you. You tell everybody hi. But anyway, these were all my kids' former show does, and they are actually going to go tomorrow to go get what we call AI'd, which is artificial insemination. And this is a way for us to bring in different genetics to our herd. Pretty excited about that tomorrow. And I'll be trying to do a video and explaining a little bit of what artificial insemination is and the process and all that stuff to go through that. Like I said, that happens tomorrow. The end of the week, we also have a flush coming up. So that's when I'll try to go into a little bit more detail on what all that entails. It can get a little bit crazy. A little bit confusing, but I'll try my best to make it as understandable as possible for you guys. And last but not least, we're kind of making our way up around the property here. Gonna go see the main group of bucks that we have. These are our mature bucks. They're all a year and older. We've got both of our weather genetic bucks and our full-blooded registered ABGA bucks in here. And you will see that they do not have a shelter at the moment, and that is because earlier this summer we had a tornado come through and decided to take it out. But let me get flipped around here and I'll show you the boys. All right, and these are the boys coming in here. This big guy here is Culpepper Livestock War Wagon. And as you can see, if they have horns, they are papered. We do take the horns off of the weather genetics because when they're little, before we decide if they're going to get to stay a buck or not, to be showed as a market whether they cannot have horns. So we just go on and take the horns off all of them. This big tan guy here is Culpepper Livestock Mr. Sandman. As you can tell, he got his name from his tan color. This next guy here is Culpepper Livestock Bourbon, and he is a little bit on the thinner side. If you notice on his front leg there, let me see if I can zoom in on him. He's got some pretty nasty scarring. He had a pretty catastrophic injury earlier this year. We were not sure if he was going to be able to get saved. He actually lost a chunk of bone out of his leg, and it was not fun. It took about 4 months to get him to start walking on that leg. So he is just now getting back into to where he, I mean, as you can see here, he's got a slight limp, but he's gaining weight back. He's doing good. He's on the mend, which is what we want. Here's Bourbon's dad. Sorry about that. This is TKLEV, Dark Score. We just call him Dark Score. And he, the last 2 years, has been our main herd sire on the registered side. All right, this big guy here, does he have a story to tell? This is Storm Chaser. He's out of a Culpepper LJ doe and a silky black market sire. I don't know if you can see it here, but last summer, you know, I have a feeling down here in South Texas, we are turning into Tornado Alley because we had a tornado hit last summer as well. And on, when the shed flipped over, a piece of tin ended up cutting the coronary band around the base of his hoof. Extremely bad. And a screw went through his hoof. He spent about 45 days at our local vet's office getting daily pain injections and pain medications and IV antibiotics, doing everything in the world to try to save him because we refused to give up on him. And after, like I said, about 45 days, we realized that he's not getting better. So we made the decision to, an attempt to save his life, we amputated one of his rear toes. But as you can see, the way he's walking, it hasn't affected him at all. So we're very, very lucky to have this guy here. He's got a special place. And this one here making the faces at us, this is Kerosene. He is out of a buck bred by 5-Star named Control Freak, and a doe that we own. Her name is Sapphire, and she's a double 900 triple out of bounds bred. Actually, it was my oldest daughter's very first show doe, and she ended up winning our county show. But like I said, this is Kerosene. Born and raised right here at Culpepper Livestock by myself, the crazy goat wife. And this dude over here, getting a nice little scratch on his rear there. Let's see if he'll turn for us. This is Walk the Line. We bought a doe that we were told was bred by 5-Star, or 5-Star bloodlines, I'm sorry about that. And she was bred to a buck that is a Hummel Shrek son. And she gave us 2 boys, and we kept this guy intact. And he's one of our last, or he's the last of our 3 weatherbred bucks. And then we call him Walk the Line because his dad's name was Johnny Cash. Like I said, these are the boys. There's War Wagon. Walk the Line over there, and here comes Mr. Sandman. The rest of them are up there. It's starting to get hot down here. You know, we are in South Texas, and it's August. But they're trying to stay cool. Hey there, Kerosene. And as you can see, they're pretty nasty looking. We are in breeding season now, or the very beginning of it. So the bucks are beginning to rut, and they don't smell very good. So that's a little bit about the goats of Culpepper Livestock. And like I said, my obsession, where I got my name, the Crazy Goat Wife, from my husband. And we're growing daily. And like I said, we have goals of, we're here for the kids. We want to teach people about the goat industry, and we want to improve the goat breed. You know, we don't want to downsize it. Our strive is to make a very hardy animal, a parasite resistant, both internal and external parasites. We do, I say, cull pretty hard on our does. If they've got, you know, birthing problems and, you know, delivery problems, if they've got a lot of parasites, we're always having to, you know, give them dewormers and stuff. We do try to cull those does out, and I do just take them to the local auction, or we sell them to somebody strictly for slaughter, because I don't want to sell somebody else my problems. I'm not in this. I mean, yes, this is our business and this is how I make money, but I don't want to screw somebody over. That's not what this is about. I want to help people grow in this industry. Everybody has to start somewhere, and we're here to try to help everybody. So I hope you enjoyed this today. You know, like I said, this is just the start. I'm hoping to do lots of educational videos and how we run things around here. It's not always going to be just about the goats. We do have a cattle operation. Got a little tongue-tied there. Like I said, we've got a cattle operation. I'll go over that. I'm going to go over some of the stuff on our breeding and the artificial insemination, the flushing, and how we've gotten to where we've gotten today by working with other breeders and working with our kids, and our kids are teaching other kids, and we're growing. We want to grow in this, not just with ourselves. We want everybody to grow with us. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you on the next video. And a screw went through his hoof. He spent about 30-45 days at our local vet.